rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pursuant to Section 5, Chapter 231, Public Laws of 1975, this is to state for the record that adequate notice of this meeting has been provided to the public by posting and maintaining the annual notice of the regular meeting on the bulletin board in the municipal building, and by providing a copy of the annual notice of the regular meetings for the year 2018 to the Glen Ridge paper, the Glen Ridge Voice, the Montclair Times, and to the Star Ledger on Wednesday, January 10th, 2018, and by filing said notice in the office of the municipal clerk. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Hughes.
Here.
Lisovich.
Here.
Mann. Here. Lefkowitz.
Here.
Murphy.
Here.
Morrow.
Here.
Mayor Patrick is present. Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of our last meeting on May 14th, 2018?
So moved.
Thank you. May I have a second? Thank you, David. Any discussion of the minutes? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Hughes.
Aye.
Lisovich.
Aye.
Mann. Aye. Lefkowitz.
Aye.
Murphy.
Aye.
Morrow.
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays. The motion carries.
Thank you. Are there any written communications?
Mr. Mayor, we have two communications we've received. One is from the Diane here, acting commissioner at DOT, announcing the availability of Safe Routes to School grant applications. We'll take that. We'll review what's eligible and see if we can come back with an eligible project and try to receive funding. Second is a letter from the same from DOT regarding a transportation alternative set-aside program, request for grant applications. Again, this is the announcement of a grant application through a joint project with DOT and various other agencies. And these are for alternative projects such as the design and construction of on- and off-road trail facilities for pedestrians, bicycles, and other non-motorized forms of transportation, conversion of and use of abandoned railroad corridors, construction of scenic turnarounds, and it goes on and on. So it's your non-traditional road projects. So again, we'll review that in-house to see if there's projects we have on board that we can potentially seek funding for.
Question. I see in this latter letter from the Department of Transportation, an objective is to enable and encourage children, including those with disabilities, to walk and bicycle to school. We have that problem with Peter, who is an adult. Is there any way that we could try to include some of his problems within a grant, if we look for a grant in that area?
That's something we can kind of review, getting into the details of this second grant, that alternative set-aside. So this is a new one for us, so we just have to get a little more detail, and then we can certainly explore that.
Hopefully we will at least explore that with him. Thank you. We now come to the time for comments of the public. We'd like to be heard.
Yes. I provided you guys with a pamphlet of all of the events happening in Essex County in the springtime, and a postcard inviting everyone to come this Saturday to the Essex County Open House from 10 to 2, and it's free admission all day for everyone. Yes, and I left copies downstairs.
Just for the record, let the public know who you are.
Oh, I'm Johanna. I am the liaison for Glen Ridge and Essex County.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And it's at Turtleback Zoo, the open house. Free admission.
I have no report tonight, but I do have a... Sorry. Yes, oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Please.
Ricky, you had issued a proclamation for that awareness day for us again this year?
Yes.
Yes.
I was just getting that, but you go ahead.
Oh, I'm getting ahead of you.
Good.
So I said,
No, this is your time. Go ahead and speak,
fine.
please.
Thank you again. I said last year, my name is Lorraine Rovati, and I've been a volunteer for Moms Demand Action in Essex County for about a year, and we have some Glen Ridge moms with us here to represent hundreds of people in Essex County who are coming together to reduce gun violence in our community. And we want to thank you and the council on behalf of Moms Demand Action and Every Time for Gun Violence Square to honor her after she was shot and killed in Chicago in 2013, a week after being in President Obama's second inaugural parade. Orange is a color that is loud and it cannot be ignored. Wear Orange Weekend is an opportunity for us to show the country how powerful the gun violence prevention movement is, and gaining momentum when we all come together and fight against it. School shootings, like the two that have just recently happened in Texas and Indianapolis, they are frightening, they are heartbreaking, and they get intensive media coverage. However, what we're trying to do is to increase the awareness that 96 people a day in the United States are killed with gun violence. And what that means is 35,000 Americans have been killed in gun violence since I was here last year accepting the proclamation. It is a uniquely American crisis, but with some common sense measures, hopefully we can come up with a uniquely American solution to it. Hadia's friend, the young woman who was killed, asked everyone to stand up, speak out, and wear orange to raise awareness of gun violence. And that's exactly what Montana Action has done since 2015. Local Montana Action members organize events nationwide throughout the weekend. Rallies, marches, picnics. What we would like to do is invite you and the public to join us at the County March Gun Violence Awareness Wear Orange Day on Sunday, the 3rd, at 4 p.m. at Sierra Park in South Orange. We're going to have a shot gathering and a rally to bring people together to honor people who have died. The work doesn't end with this weekend, though. Throughout the year, we are very active in Essex County by tabling at community events such as holiday fairs, farmers markets, national night out, to name a few. In addition to that, we lobby for good gun laws and against gun laws. We were just in Cory Booker, Senator Cory Booker brought us in within 5,000 postcards with people asking to support common sense gun laws. We have a Youth Smart presentation, which is an education program that teaches adults 5 simple ways to stop unintentional child shooting and help prevent teen suicide. We present this to small groups and large groups. And I'm here to County Youth Smart lead, so if anyone's interested, I'd love to talk to you about it. To sort of paraphrase what Hadia's parents said, we wear orange to be seen, and now we demand the right to be heard and to live a life free from gun violence. So we all want to thank you again for being a partner with us in fighting against gun violence and hoping to make gun sense a reality. And what we would like to do is give everybody an orange ribbon and that you could wear for your orange weekend and an information card. But thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. This proclamation declares June 2nd to be National Gun Violence Awareness Day in the borough of Glen Ridge, to honor and remember all victims and survivors of gun violence, and to declare that we as a country must do more to reduce gun violence. Whereas every day 93 Americans are killed by gun violence, and more than 200 have sustained non-fatal firearm injuries over the last 6 years, and whereas Americans are 25 times more likely to be killed with guns than people in other developed countries, And whereas protecting public safety in the communities they serve is mayor's highest responsibility, and whereas support for the Second Amendment rights of law-abiding citizens go hand in hand with keeping guns away from dangerous people, and whereas mayors and law enforcement officers know their communities best, are the most familiar with local criminal activity and how to address it, and are best positioned to understand how to keep their citizens safe. And whereas June 2nd, 2018 would have been the 20th birthday of Adia Pendleton, a teenager who marched in President Obama's second inaugural parade and was tragically shot and killed just weeks later. And whereas to help honor Hadia and the 93 Americans whose lives are cut short and the countless survivors who are injured by shootings every day, a national coalition of organizations has designated June 2nd, 2018 as the 4th Annual National Gun Violence Awareness Day. And whereas the idea was inspired by a group of Hadia's friends who asked their classmates to commemorate her life by wearing orange, they chose this color because hunters wear orange to announce themselves to other hunters when out in the woods. And orange is a color that symbolizes the value of human life. And whereas anyone can join this campaign by pledging to wear orange on June 2nd to help raise awareness about gun violence. And whereas by wearing orange on June 2nd, Americans will raise awareness about gun violence and honor the lives and lost human potential of Americans stolen by gun violence. And whereas we renew our commitment to reduce gun violence and pledge to do all we can to keep firearms out of the wrong hands and encourage responsible gun ownership to help keep our children safe. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Mayor Stuart Patrick of the Borough of Glen Ridge, declare June 2nd to be National Gun Violence Awareness Day. I encourage all citizens to support their local communities' efforts to prevent the tragic effects of gun violence and to honor and value human lives.
Mayor, you should sit here. Well, sit right here. So we're all sitting. Okay. Thank you so much.
Dan's good at organizing.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
If you guys don't want to hang out for the rest of the board meeting, you don't have to.
Murphy really knows how to clear a room, doesn't he? Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Councilor Hughes.
Mayor, I have two resolutions tonight. I have Resolution 88-18, be it resolved that the following claims be approved and warrants be drawn for the same. And be it resolved, Chief Financial Officer, Treasurer of the Borough of Glen Ridge is hereby authorized to issue payroll for the employees of the Borough of Glen Ridge for the pay date of June 1, 2018. Mayor, I move the resolution.
Thank you. You have heard the resolution. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Councilor Sovich. Any discussion of the Seeing none, will clerk please call the roll?
Hughes.
Aye.
Lisovich.
Aye.
Mann. Aye. Ratliff.
Aye.
Murphy.
Aye.
Morrow.
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays, the resolution is approved.
Mayor, I have resolution 89-18. Whereas a balance of $100 remains open on the 2018 first quarter property taxes for 41 Hamilton Place. Whereas the open balance arose from a discrepancy in reporting, and whereas it is recommended by the tax collector and the chief financial officer of the borough that the remaining balance on this account be canceled, be it resolved by the mayor and council of the borough of Glen Ridge that the tax collector is hereby authorized to cancel the open balance on the first quarter 2018 property taxes for block 97, lot 25. Mayor, I move the resolution.
You've heard the resolution, may I hear a second?
Second.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor.
So this was the open balance that was talked about in last time's workshop meeting?
I don't think so. $100. $100.
Sounds familiar to me. I think you're
sounds
right. I think
familiar.
this has been discussed before.
I recall it
This was
vaguely.
the, cash situation, do you guys remember that conversation?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was talked about, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right, where they paid in cash, and then we determined that the amount was $100 more than what we paid.
Yeah.
And so there was a balance.
That opens the question, then. Did we have a resolution at the last meeting on this particular item?
I don't think so.
No.
It was just something we discussed in the work session?
Yeah.
Okay. You've heard the resolution, may I hear a second? And I have heard a second from Councilor Lisovich. So, if there's no further discussion, will clerk please call the roll?
Hughes.
Aye.
Lisovich.
Aye.
Mann. Aye. Ratliff.
Aye.
Murphy.
Aye.
Morrow.
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays, the resolution is approved.
Mayor, that's all I have tonight.
Thank you. Councilor Lisovich.
I have no report this evening, Mr. Mayor.
Councilor Mans.
I have no report to do, Mr. Mayor.
Councilor Lefkowitz.
So I have a brief report this evening. First of all, folks will be glad to know that the flushing of the fire hydrants is now over. And
Their water quality is looking good.
and the water quality is
Why
looking
we
good.
do it, yeah.
So from DPW, the staff was out working in conjunction with the police department, cleaning up from the storm on May 15th. The high winds felled several private trees with multiple large limbs from borough trees. Public Works also helped in the preparation of several events this week. Last Friday was the Ridgewood Avenue School Rhino Romp, which was a run, walk, or combination along Ridgewood Avenue. DPW staff then went out to prepare for the Memorial Day Parade and picnic. They've also been working with the Parks and Rec in getting the Glen Ridge Town Pool open ready for opening day. And finally, last week, DLS Contracting paved Avon Place, Cambridge Road, Sunset Avenue, and Dodge Street. Today, they have milled and paved Edgewood Road. Beyond that, the concrete contractor moved over to Linden and Washington to install the ADA ramps. They will then move over to Herman Street for some additional curb work and to replace the apron in front of the ambulance bay. And these roads will be paved once the school year has concluded, and that concludes my report.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Murphy.
Mr. Mayor, nothing urgent except, of course, the 12th annual Fitzgerald's Lager Run and the newly named Nipper Mile on Sunday evening, June 24th. We'll be having a borough announcement. Online registration can be done at copyscore.com. Race applications are at the train station, and we will have a PDF application going out through the mail along with the traditional online registration link. So we want everybody to come out and support the Glen Ridge Community Funds race, which is known as the Fitzgerald's Lager Run, and also the kids race, the Nipper Mile, for the dearly departed Forest Station. And that's all I have for you.
Thank you. Councilor Morrow.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just briefly, I can report that the memorializing resolution approving the site plan applications for the Mountainside Office Building and changes to the parking plan was approved at the planning board meeting earlier this month. The next step is the redevelopment agreement, and it is currently being reviewed with our borough attorney and Montclair as well. So that is all I have on planning board. I also, though, did want to mention, off topic of planning board, but I wanted to thank the chief. I did attend the Women's Self-Defense Workshop also earlier this month. It was a stormy night. It was the night we lost power in trees, but the workshop was very well attended. Tara was there as well, and it was, I want to just thank you and your staff, because I do think the participants really got a lot out of it. I know I practiced maneuver when I got home, and my husband was a little injured as a result, but no, it was really a very good turnout. It was great to have that self-awareness. There were some technical moves that were also practiced, but I understand there's some thought to do that with the high school young women before they leave for college, and I think that it would be a great thing, and I would like to see us do it again as well. So I just want to thank you and your staff.
So, Anne Marie, do we need to have domestic violence training next week?
Bob was like, that hurt. It was the simplest thing to grasp he grabbed you by the wrist.
Those are the last words he had.
You knocked it with your free wrist. Wow.
Very good, Chief.
So thank you, Chief.
Good job.
You're wonderful. Thank you.
And that's all I have.
Thank you. This is time for comments of the administrator and department heads.
I have nothing to report at this time, Mayor.
John, do you have something?
Mayor, I do. I would like to report that I think that we have reached an agreement, at least in concept, for the settlement of the builder's remedy lawsuit that involves the Baldwin Street properties. And what we have been discussing, which would constitute a resolution of that litigation, would be the construction of a 110-unit residential apartment complex on the 2.1 acres which comprise that site. Because this is a builder's remedy lawsuit which was brought under what's been called Mount Laurel type litigation, there is an affordable housing component to this settlement, which was the reason why the lawsuit was brought. And hopefully this will also lead us to a conclusion with the larger consolidated Essex County proceeding, which is still pending against Glen Ridge. But as part of the 110 units, there would be 93 market rate units. And they would be a mix of 1- and 2-bedroom units in equal share, 47 or 46, 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom, as the case may be. There would be no 3-bedroom market rate units. There is an affordable housing component, and that would be 17 units. And that would be a mix of 3 1-bedroom units, 10 2-bedroom units, and 4 3-bedroom units. And these are all determined by the statutes that govern the Mount Laurel litigation. There would be 188 parking spaces that would serve this residential complex. It would be located in the rear of the property, and I'm hoping over the next week or two we might be able to have some concept drawings made available that would be put on the borough website. There are some details that have to be worked out, but the concept as to the size of the project seems to be something that the parties have reached some type of accord on. There will be more to follow. We're working on trying to have a much fuller settlement agreement, and it may be that that's something that will be put before the Mayor and Council in June for a settlement based on these terms.
Thank you, John. Chief?
Mr. Mayor, wanted to remind everybody that tomorrow we have a crime prevention program going on. It's our Bloomfield Border Crime Prevention Program. We worked with East Orange. We completed Montclair last year, and over the last month we've been trying to hit all the streets that we border or share with the borough or the township of Bloomfield. Tomorrow we're gonna be up in the area of Stonehouse, Essex, sort of up in the north end of town. Bloomfield Crime Prevention, Glen Crime Prevention, knock on the doors and see what, we can do for quality of life issues with anybody in that area.
Great.
Thank you.
Is there any new or unfinished business, Mike?
No, at this time, Mayor.
Okay. We're at that time where we have comments from the public again. You want another shot? All right, seeing none. Councilor Mans, have you got something for us?
I have a motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Adjourned.